What is going on, guys? Welcome to another moto vlog. Today we are going to talk about the RS660 and the MT-09. After I ride this RS660, I will be riding on the MT-09, and then we'll talk a little bit about how they do on the mountains. So as we approach these sweepers coming up before us, let's start off with the obvious. The RS660 body position is completely different than being on an MT-09. I understand that even before getting on the MT-09, it's an obvious difference, but with that said, it does not mean that the MT-09 is not as capable as this RS660. Going with the RS660, you understand you are on the bike, you are leaned forward, your pegs are behind you, your legs are behind you. You are in a position that is more conducive to the race aspect of riding a motorcycle, such as MotoGP or Moto America. Very seldom do we see a naked battle like the Z900 Cup, or a cup that displays the aggressiveness and the style of racing naked street fighters. As we are going into this curve, just putting your balls of your feet down onto your heels, you can be pushing down and be cutting into this corner without really doing anything. Apart from that, this bike just cuts into the corner. As an RS660 owner and as a hyper naked bike owner, I understand the differences, and I know where both of them will fall short and where both of them exceeds expectations. Right now, as this is my first time riding a super sport or a sport bike on the mountain curves, I understand completely the difference between the two compared to the times that I've ridden out here. You got this long sweeper here, and the RS660 just flows through it with freaking ease, man. Yep, this RS660 is made for roads like this. If you live out here, guys, and you are not riding a sport bike or a hyper naked bike, either one out here on these roads, you are completely missing out. The RS660 just wants to turn a lot more aggressively into these corners than any hyper naked that I've been able to ride, and at the moment the suspension is holding off really well. I think that is my only gripe, is on the tight turns you can definitely get better suspension on this RS660. Another thing about this, guys, I've been riding this for 8 hours yesterday, and I did not, have like the pain that I usually have when riding a complete super sport like a R6 or a 636. You don't have, or my Gixxer 750 that I used to have. I do not feel the same pain that I would feel on those motorcycles, and I could only imagine bringing one of those bikes out here trying to attack these curves. Would it be fun? Yes, but for 8 hours, I do not think so. Alright, guys, so that's gonna be it for the RS660. I am going to jump on the MT-09 and we are gonna flip it to that, and then I'll give you my final thoughts on both motorcycles. See you guys on the MT-09. Be right back in a minute. I don't even know where your keys are at. Oh, there it is. Alright, guys, we are jumping on this MT-09. Now obviously I've been on a naked bike before here out in the Ozarks, but I have not been on an MT-09, so we are gonna test it out and talk a little bit about the differences between jumping on from a sport bike to a naked street fighter type motorcycle like the MT-09. Let's go ahead and hop a leg on it, and we're gonna head down to Eureka Springs, and I'll tell you a little bit about the differences and what I think about regarding a super sport and a street fighter naked. Again, this is not my first time on an MT-09, but it is here. We'll leave it on standard mode for now. It is so different than the Z900. You are definitely sitting on the motorcycle. Brake are a little bit strong, and I am definitely more upright than I would be on the super sport. Alright, so my foot pegs are a little behind, and we're gonna hit this first corner right here. I don't want to go too crazy because obviously this is not my motorcycle and I am not used to it as I am used to the Z900 or the RS660. I don't know how this motorcycle does in turns, but we are going to find out. Pegs are a little bit behind. Like I said earlier, I am upright, a little bit more upright than the Kawasaki Z900, and definitely than a super sport. I'm trying to get my heels on the pegs to cut this corner, and from riding all day yesterday with the RS660, it just feels so weird, guys. nice. Oh my god, it feels so weird. But it is super comfortable. Being a little bit more upright, I feel a lot of wind hitting my chest than when I am on the RS660 and somewhat forward. I just tried a quick shift and I forgot that this motorcycle does not have a quick shifter. I'm looking back at my baby all the time, making sure it's okay. But with the less fairings, it looks like I'm in 6th gear. No, I should not be in 6th gear. But looking back at my baby, man, I hope he's having fun on that bike. One thing that I notice about the MT-09 is that it does not have a lot of area to push your butt back when you are coming into a curve. Not as much as the RS660 or a Super Sport or even my Z900. My Z900 has a huge seat that you could pull your butt all the way back when you're hitting a corner and get into that tuck position. Now these obviously are not like the corners that you will see on the tight twisty pig trail, but it is pretty good side sweepers, and this motorcycle definitely is good for that. I have no issues with this bike as it stands right now regarding these type of corners. It takes a little bit of while to kind of get that confidence in these tires, kind of confidence in this riding position, but with this bike it just seems like it's easier to get that right away, I guess. Now what I'm not sure about is that the braking on this bike, and it could be just the settings, is a little bit too harsh for me. If I were to say what the very big difference is between riding a naked bike and riding a Super Sport that I've taken from this trip and I've taken from this ride, is that body position is a big factor. Does it tip into corners very well? Yes, but the fun factor when being in the corner is just not the same. Now that I rode the RS660 on these roads, I don't feel like I ever want to take any other bike on these roads unless I am traveling further to get here. Like if I was not trailering, if I was just riding my motorcycle all the way up here, I would definitely choose this bike or the Z900. But if I'm gonna trailer anywhere where I was gonna hit corners like this, the RS660 is definitely gonna be my first choice. Well, there you have it, guys. Moto-R trying out Urban Moto's MT-09 and comparing it to his RS660 in the mountain roads of the Ozarks. We're gonna end this right here, and I will give you my final thought on the RS660 versus the MT-09, a Super Sport versus a naked bike on these awesome mountain twisty roads. Alright guys, so final thoughts on riding the Aprilia RS660 in these mountain roads and riding the MT-09 in these mountain roads. First of all, let's talk about capability. Are they both capable of riding these roads? Yes. I will say it more depends on your style of riding and depends on what you want to achieve when you're out here on these curvy roads. It also comes down to the style and your type of riding that you want to do when you're out here. I think that the MT-09 is capable on the curves just as much as the RS660. It just feels a little bit different. So like when you buy a motorcycle and you hop a leg over it, you kind of feel if you are going to be able to control the motorcycle if it just feels right. So in my aspect of it, I do not feel right on the MT-09. I feel more at home with the Aprilia RS660 when I'm on these roads. However, other riders and older riders who do not like the forward position and maybe have some back issues or wrist issues may like the hyper naked style more. Now, as you know, and I've compared it so much in this video, that I have a Z900 and I've ridden these roads in the Z900. It's 100% capable of it, but the differences are seating position and how easily it turns into curves. I feel like the Super Sport turns so much more easier into these curves without a lot of adjustments on your body. Guys, if you like the video, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. I appreciate you guys for taking time out of your day to watch this video. You could have been doing anything in this entire world, and you chose to spend a little bit of it with your boy. I'll see you guys in the next one, yo. Peace.